Indeed legit. Okay.
Indeed, legit. All good.
All right. So let's see. EA has been flip-flopping this whole year ever since they started with the release of Andromeda. That is Mass Effect Andromeda. Uh, that was the first disappointment this year, and then uh, they went with the flip flopping of shutting down studios like Visceral Games and all that, and they've been also flip flopping and uh, trying to take control over their consumers with loot boxes and microtransactions. And people have been hating EA this whole year long, more than previous years. And so, um, I am really concerned about the future of EA. That it's including Anthem, which is the most anticipated, really cool and awesome looking multiplayer game.
Right.
But it also concerns what future that EA is going, and my concerns about it, and your concerns about it, you Officer Dan. I really want to hear them. And what's your concern? Let's start with shutting down Visceral Games, and what that mindset of EA right now, just shutting down some really cool studio that it brought us Dead Space and other type of games
Yeah,
that are
especially Dead
single
Space.
player games.
Yeah. Well, before I get into that, them shutting down Visceral was an insane 1-2 punch of bad publicity, Zyber, because you could see it on the front page of Kotaku, whether they did this side by side comparison or not, because EA already had the reputation of buying companies just to kill them off, right? But there it was one day on the front page of Kotaku personifying just what they do. One article above said EA shuts down developer Visceral Games. And directly underneath that, it said EA buys Respawn Entertainment, the people behind Titanfall and all of that. And it was just, it's just obvious to everybody in the world the cycle of like them taking over a company and then running it into the ground and killing it off just continued. It was so disgusting to see both of those things so clearly, obviously, side by side. I don't know how the people at Respawn could even go to sleep that night. Like, I wonder how, like, I don't know. Maybe they just see money is money and they don't I don't know the mindset of. Oops, sorry about that beep. That's my headset dying. That's gonna pick up
No.
later. But I don't know how they can just put up with like stomaching being bought by EA at the first place. But what they must have been thinking, what their reaction must have been to have have that side by side news like that. Visceral's dead, and you're next. What they
Yeah,
must
it's
think.
like
It was just such an
sleeping.
insane 1-2
Yeah,
punch.
it's like sleeping with a serial killer on your side. It's weird.
Um,
Um. So yeah, continue.
yeah, I guess about my thoughts on it. It's just what they do. They've been at it for so long. They destroyed Command and Conquer for the people over at Westwood. They destroyed Maxis, the people behind SimCity. These these developers with such like legendary and standout game titles behind them that were
Yeah.
beloved by so many people. They just kept doing it. In the sense of Dead Space 3, like that was all like necrotic. Actually, I just think of like Necromorph in the realm of Dead Space because nobody liked the third one,
No,
which was the pretty much the last game in the series, unless you count
yeah,
like whatever the rail shooters were that nobody cared about. I don't know when they released, but like it did terrible because EA was reaching their horrible, filth-ridden hands into it and throwing in all the
yeah,
microtransactions and stuff like
yeah,
that.
all those practices, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason why they actually shut down the studio is basically stupidness,
Yeah.
because be, because of them doing this, shutting down. It's because that they thought about a Star Wars game. They saw a Star Wars game that was extremely linear, and they didn't want that. It was a single player game, linear game, and they thought it was shit. And they're like, nope, you gotta get out of here because only multiplayers are giving us a lot of money. So
Uh-huh.
you can't just get out of here. And the mentality here, I did a rant video on my other channel, and I have
Oh.
to like repeat it right now because I really hate this practice. And I hate when big companies like these, survived in the fifth and sixth and seventh generation without loot boxes and without microtransactions. And I'm talking about PlayStation 1 era, I'm talking about PlayStation 2 era, and PlayStation 3 era. Such as, how come you can like survive with a lot of money in your hands, with a lot of single player games, and even multiplayer games at the same time? You did EA used to do both. I mean, what's the excuse right now about like how did you even survive in the fifth generation or uh, sixth generation?
Yeah.
Back when the Xbox and at least the GameCube and the PlayStation 2 era, like it it, it, it it doesn't fit in my head. Like how can you people forget your roots? How can you
Mm-hmm.
people forget why why you're EA? Because it frustrates me when a company tries to throw things out. You know, uh, they don't own Lucas Art or anything like that. They just
Yeah.
poor Lucas Arts. It's a shame that we had to like let that be just a memory, and it's hard because because of EA itself being greedy and this way, it it turns me into a freaking monster, man. Because monster of rants. And there's a lot of people who are really pissed off because of the reasons why they do this to a lot of companies, a lot of studios. I mean, they have been doing this like the past years already. They've been shutting down studios because they don't they don't give them money. I mean, I can see Dice right now
Mm-hmm.
looking at them like, oh shit, uh, we need more good stuff for multiplayer, and we need to reduce things for the single player which is the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about, let's say, uh, Battlefield franchise. You see that campaigns are like at least like 4 hours of gameplay, and that's it. The rest is just multiplayer,
Yeah. It's
and
really
it's
hard to
just
argue that is long.
exactly it's it's frustrating when back in the day the story was very important. You know, for me, there has to be a reason for me to play, for me to game, for me to like at least know a character in the game, whether if it's multiplayer or single player. I love I love both, but the story needs to be in there. And I'm seeing that fading away from EA a lot, you know,
Yep.
and it's frustrating, man. it's something that it scares me because there's other companies who also doing this kind of practice of going all multiplayer with loot boxes and microtransactions. They're doing this practice and I'm hating it, and it's like EA is kind of like this influential type of company that likes, you know, this kind of practice. It's kind of evil at the same time, but at the same time it is this, but you cannot like spam it. You can't be that of a greedy type of level that everything needs to be pay to win type of level. I've been downloading a lot of DLCs in Dead or Alive. I
Mm-hmm.
had to admit it. At least above $100 in Dead or Alive 5. You know, but that's not pay to win. I mean, I'm buying costumes. You might know why. It's Dead or Alive. But yeah, it's something that, okay, costumes is good, but nothing that can give you an advantage in game. There's a lot of people who are pro uh, to this practice. They like loot boxes, they like microtransactions,
Yeah,
but
especially in sports.
exactly. But you cannot ruin other type of people's experience. That's way above the line. EA crossed the line there of pay to win because you still with a shitty freaking weapon in Battlefront 2. And then to get to the same level as another dude who has every kind of like loot box in the collection of freaking microtransactions. Like, dude, come on. Totally unfair.
Yeah. Um, Concerning the sports, I was seeing on the internet earlier today, thanks to Reddit. It's like EA's doubling down after Battlefront and UFC.
Hmm.
In the UFC franchise, because there's a beta sent out, I guess, because sports games have had this already, but but this instance of it sounds supremely awful. Like, in its case, microtransactions, it says here, are the only means of acquiring perks and boosts for your fighter in UFC. Like, the
Hmm.
only way to get them to have, like, better, stamina and better hit points and stuff is to
Yeah,
straight up pay for it.
advantages.
Is
Yeah,
to straight
advantages.
up pay for it. You can't even get it any other way in this beta that was sent out. You actually have to pay money to do that.
Exactly.
It's disgusting. But
Yeah,
the
and
sports demographic has already they've already had this kind of garbage for years, and they think it's normal.
it sucks. And I've seen this even in RPGs. Like, what happened to the grinding? What happened with the experience of busting your ass off to look for something and be powerful because you earned it,
Mm.
not because, oh yeah, I bought this so easy and I'm so powerful and overpowered, and now I can pass this level so freaking easy. And yeah, because of that loot box or microtransaction that I bought, yeah, it makes my character a lot powerful. Like, come on. That's my main concern, man. Like, I can get that even single players are affected by this too, not only multiplayer. I think it was Shadow of War, was it? Is that the
That's the
new
last. That's the last one that came out. Yes.
exactly? And people being saying about the microtransactions in that game, and I do not like it. I
No.
mean, it's it's an RPG. It's an action type of game that you grind and you gain stuff just like the old times. But no, this one is totally different. This one you pay for stuff to be powerful. And like, what happened to those days that you earned it? You look for it. You you bust your ass like at least for months to get to that freaking sword or shield or type of stone or whatever. I mean, and
Mm.
I thank God that a lot of RPGs like Nintendo's RPGs, and let's talk about a little bit about Zelda here. Even though Zelda has expansion packs and DLCs, but the game is hard itself, and you need to bust your ass to gain the stuff you want there. That's a great example there, and
It's
it's
a true
fun
meaning of
to.
DLC to me too,
Mm-hmm.
because there's
And
already a
it's
complete game there.
exactly, you're not raping your consumers the day one, because that's another problem, because the DLC day one, loot boxes day one, microtransactions day one. Let's rape you guys, and come on, it's just I'm about to like
Well,
have
yeah,
fun with the game.
that's another instance I just saw from Ubisoft the other day. There were people complaining for people who purchased uh, the season pass for Assassin's Creed Origins. It's written in their clause that they have the right to like change and revoke whatever, even if you already
Damn.
pay for it. So there's people that purchased uh, the season pass for Assassin's Creed Origins and find that all of a sudden that things that were promised to them in the season pass are no longer there. They're separate, or they're just gone. They're separate DLCs now, or they're just gone. That's messed up. You already like
Totally messed up.
advertised to them that they were going to get it, and then you just take it away after they pay for it.
That is so unfair. Wow. So EA and mostly all these big companies right now are really getting infected by this evil practice. And I can get it. I can get it. It's almost a business. It is a business, but at the same time, don't rape us. I mean, we're paying $60 for your freaking game, and we have to pay another freaking $20 or $60 for another expansion or another DLC or whatever the case may be, and we cannot get a full price game, like at least the
Mm-hmm.
$60 to give us everything in there. No, they just want more. And EA, gosh dang it, why? I mean, there's ways to do stuff. And I'm going back to the single player games. You know, canceling Visceral games in the first place was a bad idea. Want to know why? You know how many, uh, the world of Star Wars itself, it's big. And even though if it was linear and single player game, you know how many stuff you could like address there with costumes, lightsabers,
Yep,
characters. You could win a lot of money with just that.
just cosmetics.
Exactly. Like,
Works for Overwatch.
didn't they? That's another example. You know, it's it's so obvious to just see just a linear game with a single player game that you could like at least expand it a little bit more, because people have been saying, single player games, maybe they're linear. I play them to A to Z, and then I just sell it and get it back to GameStop because I won't play that game. I don't. People have been saying, well, I just play and finish the game and I'll sell it again. I'll sell it away. Then why won't you do like Breath of the Wild or like Horizon Zero Dawn? with these expansion packs, with these maps and missions, extra missions, so that the game could keep on going. There's a lot of ways to do stuff here instead
Mm-hmm.
of like shutting down a freaking studio.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I mean? It's common sense. I mean, the world of Star Wars, you can like, damn, it's a freaking huge world, galaxy out there that you could like invent a lot of stuff. And wow, they lost an opportunity there, man. I mean, even though they get to these type of loot boxes and microtransactions in that game in particularly, then you know they might have to like think about it like 10 times before they shut down the studio. If that was EA's route, way to do stuff, why don't they just think about that instead of like shutting down a really good studio with a lot of creativity?
Mm-hmm.
Because right now EA does not have a lot of creativity, because right now Battlefront is just like the same as Battlefront 2. I mean Battlefront 1, and with other weapons and new Jedis, new Sith, and that's it.
Yeah.
They haven't changed anything else. I mean, what is it out there that EA has about, they right now they lack of really good studios that are very creative. I miss Force Unleashed right now. And I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people hate Force Unleashed, but that was, for me, it was a really cool single player game. Even though it flopped in the second game, but it was fun. It was a fun action game right there. It was a Star Wars game, and damn, it's just like us just having the Star Wars title. It would sell easy. It would sell, unless if you fuck up, just like they did with
Yeah.
Battlefront.
I
That was like the only way that they will fuck up,
it's something
because
that's
they
baffling
didn't
to me
like
too.
rape.
I just want to say that's something that's baffling to me too. Like, isn't it enough that you have one of the most beloved pop culture icons of all time in the name, and then you get free enough of that, and you feel like you're not going to make enough money just based off of that you have to throw all this other crap in with the microtransactions and everything. I don't know why
Oh
that wouldn't be
god,
just enough.
Jesus! It's like having the NBA in my hands and tell them, no, it's too linear for me, and I have no future with it because I have no idea what to do with a title like an NBA in my hand. So goodbye. It's that stupid. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I could do a lot of things with NBA title, even though a lot of people don't like sports games. Look at NBA 2K right now. It's still successful, even though they're in the same route, same practices, competing with NBA Live, which that's shit. EA, that's shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, because EA owns NBA Live, and that is shit. It looks bad. It's a lot of things that I really hate right now about EA. That's been bothering me through all these years,
Yep.
and it totally concerns me in the future. I mean, let's talk about their uh, Battlefront. 3 billion lost
And stock, yeah. Really
in
impressive.
stock.
Really impressive, actually.
I haven't seen a flop that badly. A video game with the title of Star Wars in it that it will be a failure like that. It's it's a shame.
It really is.
And I don't know if, for me, in my, way of thinking, they deserved it. They deserved it because of who they have become. I know a
Yeah,
lot of
they have
people
it
would
coming.
be like, EA is best. Yeah, I don't care about, pay for win. I like Star Wars. Yeah, I'm a hardcore fan of Star Wars. I can guarantee you that I am a hardcore fan, and I know the lore of Star Wars, and I've seen the Clone Wars. I've seen all the sagas. I've seen the name it, you name it. I mean, I'm a hardcore fan, but I do not support these kind of practices of EA. I will not buy their game. This game is worth at least $20, even less, for me, because all these loot boxes and microtransactions, those are for free to play games, just like Warframe. Those games are free, but they still have microtransactions and they still have loot boxes. But it's a
Hmm.
free game, and they're giving you the experience. But no, EA wants you to pay a full price the game, and then above that, they want you to pay more to get an advantage for your game. I don't know about you, Dan.
Yeah, well, I have this smaller YouTuber that I'm subscribed to that I was surprised to see. He posted up a video, which is now easily his most disliked video, that he titled that
Tell me.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 is the most underrated game this year. And so it was really interesting to hear a perspective of somebody trying to defend that mess of a game.
Okay.
And so I really couldn't agree with most of it because I really truly believe that EA has this stuff coming. They seem to think that the mobile market is the same as the traditional gamer like console and PC market. There's stockholders out there that see how well mobile gaming is doing, but we as gamers know it's a complete garbage dump. It's a complete hot mess when it comes to mobile gaming. It's all the same match 3, tiny microtransactions, timers on this, energy, stamina spent on that. It's a complete mess, but stockholders don't see it that way. So you have people that are trying to shove this and successfully shoving this microtransactions mess in. Um, so maybe this individual was kind of in the mindset of that, thinking that they're kind of one and the same. But with Battlefront coming out and the backlash that has come of it, hopefully we finally sent the message loud and clear that we don't want this kind of crap in our so-called
Mm-hmm.
AAA games. All I can say from this individual's thoughts, because I disagreed with most of it,
Okay.
I really can't remember this individual's points too much. But I will give this individual this. It's last when I checked the video, or I haven't visited the Metacritic website, but it has a 0.8 user score. Last I saw it,
Dang.
anyways, over on Metacritic for Star Wars Battlefront 2. And his gripe is that, it's a really gorgeous looking game. And it's crammed
Yeah.
with all this Star Wars stuff. So this is mostly in defense that they did craft this beautiful looking thing. It's gorgeous. Some people who
Yeah.
wouldn't know any better might think you are watching a movie. The graphics are wonderful. The stupid, I
Yeah.
think it's Frostbite engine, right? That's all they use
Yeah.
anymore. The Frostbite engine does wonderful graphics, and um, for the simplistic kind of shooting that it is, it's able to just, you know, full force go into the graphics. It looks like Star Wars. It sounds perfectly like Star Wars and high definition and all that stuff. It's crammed full with all this Star Wars lore and just fun characters, just like how they advertised it with the first game, where it's just like you're a kid again and you just have all the different characters' figures and they're just intermingling and fighting each
Indeed.
other. And it's just all that and it's wonderful. And so in that perspective, he thinks it's not fair that a game would be rated so harshly as to go down as far as a zero point 0.8 on Metacritic for it looking and sounding as good and being as loaded as it is. And I have to say that is a good point, you know.
Hmm.
But with everything that he said, I just I wish I could come up with an analogy that's less gross. So maybe I can come up with one. Let's just say you go to a restaurant and you ordered this fine Star Wars soup that everybody's talking about, made with the highest quality ingredients, and it comes out and it's looking wonderful. And then, you've got to try early revisions of it before they got the the extra special ingredients shipped in. So you tried an early build of it. You tried a beta of it, and then here comes the second beta of it. Oh, this is going to be even better than before. Comes with a silver spoon to slurp it with. But this time, the waiter sets it down on your table and dumps dog food right in the center. And, they say, oh, oops, we'll put in less dog food. So they scoop out less dog food, aka they lessen the price of Darth Vader. So Darth Vader doesn't cost as much anymore. It's like, no, you still put this crap that we don't want in the soup. Take it out completely. You sickos. And then the internet really goes at them. And they say, oh, we pulled it out. You see them scoop all the dog food out. The build that's out there right now, as of typing, recording this thing, is that, there's currently no microtransactions in the game because of the backlash. But they straight up say they're coming back. So at this point,
Exactly.
you've already tasted. Everybody can see, can see a whole restaurant, the whole internet, the whole world saw what you did to this wonderful masterpiece of a bowl of soup. The bad taste is already in your mouth. Even though you've already taken it out, the bad taste is already there. And that waiter, he's going to come back and he's going to drop another big dosage
Exactly.
of
Yeah.
dog food into it. Why that would be desirable, that's another point that he was trying to make. Oh, they took him out, so what are you whining for? It's like, no, I can see why. Because you've already ruined something beautiful. You've already put that bad taste in there. People can imagine it. And they already said they're coming back with it. And their reputation is already so far into the mud with everything that they've done this year. And this is the biggest of it all, to get governments involved, for Pete's sakes. It's not okay. But I do have to say, maybe it is a little rough to be, for it to be, a 0.8 on Metacritic, because there are dedicated fans who love Star Wars that worked on this game. But yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, 0.8 is a dude. That's
Yeah. At least last
it's a
I
really
saw.
low score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, they brought them to themselves.
Yeah, they have it coming,
EA,
though.
yeah, they have it coming. I mean, they stabbed, they shot themselves on the foot. It's like, but we're still coming back. That's a no-no, man. That's like, just like you said, the example that you said. It's good. Then they put a bad taste into it, and you just don't want to taste it again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people are really getting away from these type of games, especially Battlefront. They had it coming. I mean, as much as I love Star Wars, because I'm a really hardcore fan, and I really want to
Right.
support Star Wars games, but I cannot support something that it will make me a disadvantage and an advantage to a gameplay that it will make me a lot more powerful if I buy these loot boxes and microtransactions over another player. You leave that to Game Shark if that still exists. You leave that to Action Replay if that still exists.
Yeah.
But no, you know, it's that type of cheating still. I mean, you get these advantages, and what's up with the other people who don't have these kind of money
Dude, yeah,
and they
that
have to grind their
yeah.
asses off? Like, damn, dude, it's so unfair to just like, why do people keep on defending this shit? It's
Yeah.
uncool. You can do microtransactions as long as you do in fact the gameplay. As long as is the experience still equal to all the gamers, it's okay.
It's got to be
But
equal.
still, it has got to be equal.
Yeah, that I mean
It's
that has me
freaking
recall what this YouTuber was saying. That even if Mike he would say, since even if microtransactions were in the game, so what? They've been in games for this long already. Um, if there are a few suckers out there, why not let them put up with it? And it's because we won't put up with it because it does affect us. I don't think this
yeah,
individual realized the advantages these people got. I saw into it, they would cut down cooldowns on character classes by half. And even the biggest offender to me is that if you got lucky with your rolls, you would get like help with your aim assist because you're that big of a baby to aim at somebody.
exactly.
You can have aim assist help you out even harder than it already like kind of naturally would a little bit on console. That is a
Exactly.
horribly that is a horribly big advantage that that you're like barely like who knows how much it did at the time because nobody could really check, especially right now. Who knows if they even could have, even during the beta, even if they got lucky to get a hold of that effect, if that effect was even in there. But for crying out loud, it's not there because it needs to be a level playing field.
It even feels like you're playing against a freaking hardcore bot.
Uh huh.
That's the level of this shit. Dang it. It's really frustrating, man. And I'm concerned about other type of companies, getting into this practice. Because it's not just EA, it is not just them. I've seen uh, Destiny, yeah, Bungie doing it too. And it
Yeah,
sucks. It
it was
sucks
laughable
because
on Destiny's part.
yeah, Destiny, yeah, it's like, come on, guys. You know what happened to EA? You know what happened.
That's what
So
made.
they just trying to experiment in that area. Let's see if they can get a boost of it of the how fans will react. But that's just getting cocky.
Mm-hmm.
EA got cocky, and look what happened. Disney had to call them out. They're like, hey, you got that Star Wars title on that game. You better do something good about it because
Yeah.
we're hearing angry fans out there. I mean, for Disney to call them out, dude, that is some serious shit. I
Yeah, it
mean,
is.
EA has money,
Not as
but
much as
Disney
Disney,
has the whole universe.
or they will very soon. They're well on their way.
EA can own EA's freaking ass.
Yeah, if it got bad enough, they could just hostile take over the whole place.
Yes. And for me to, you know, because I grew up with some of EA's games, just like Battlefield, Crisis franchise. People people forgot about Crisis 1, 2, and 3. I love the third one. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
let's see, Dead Space. You know, it's something that uh, it just in a memory of a good type of games that EA published.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and for me, it's heartbreaking to see EA this greedy, this type of. It almost seems like politics to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they trying to control us. They try to like, oh yeah, you want this? Well, you need to pay a little bit to just go ahead and be a little bit more powerful. And like, come on, you could sell me character. I want Mace Windu in this game. I
Yeah.
want
This.
Obi-Wan. I
Yeah.
want General Grievous. I want freaking you name it, man. Like I you could sell me different lightsaber colors since there's a lot invented by fans. And that's not ticking ahead of, you know, power in gameplay. Unless if you make the purple one a lot powerful, which that's freaking idiotic of them
Mm-hmm.
if they do.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of ways to just sell your product to your consumers. It's not just pay to win and yeah being gritty and paying for a lot of shit like you don't like shit that you don't like. Well, maybe I need it, maybe not. You're in this like type of like, oh, it's just $2. Like maybe I'll buy it because that's the way loot boxes work. You look at it's so cheap, but at the end of the day, you're like maybe I'll buy this. It's $3. I mean, how bad could it be? I'm like my wallet still handle this. At the end of the day, you're like, man, I just spent $50 on these freaking
Right.
microtransactions,
Right.
and that's the mentality of right now. Like little by little, EA's been like, okay, people are buying this shit, and like, yeah, let's make something more attractive to them, so they can buy it more. And that's so freaking evil. That is so Sith like, so Palpatine like, and it's so man. I I'm concerned about Anthem because the game
Yeah.
looked gorgeous. The game looks gorgeous, and the multiplayer may be the best thing about Anthem. But as the time as it hit us in the freaking dang it with freaking microtransactions and loot boxes. Is this how you sell the game? At least if you would sell your game at $20 and then make people to buy your loot boxes and microtransactions. There's ways to do it, and there's ways to do it because they just want to just pay the full price of the game, and you can buy these $100 of loot boxes and transactions. Like we care about your wallet. I mean, we are giving you our products that you like, and go ahead and pay. I mean, like looking back in the day, like getting a game full with no DLC, it's like, man, I got this full game. I'm gonna grind the hell out of it. I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to like replay it and get the things I want and get the hardcore things and the things that are hidden in this game. Man, what happened to that? It's like we don't actually need like official strategy guides anymore because of how easy games get because
Mm-hmm.
buying shit.
Right.
You know, it's reality. It's what we're us gamers are facing right now, and I'm I'm to blame about this too because I buy DLCs too. I haven't buy microtransactions neither loot boxes, but I buy DLCs, downloadable content. It's the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and because of us being a little bit blind, uh, you know, because there's a lot of games in the Sam's generation from the PlayStation 3 uh, and the 360 where a lot of games used to be like, well, you can get the $60 games, but you can also download these other stuff that you might like. And little by little, we've been falling to those things without, noticing to this day. It's like, man, now I woke up. Maybe it's partially my fault that these things are affecting us today. Because even by just you buying DLC, those companies that are freaking greedy, they're like, yeah, that's the way we want you to buy our stuff. That's been going on for years. Let's just start with Activision, with the freaking downloadable content with the Call of Duty, Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they started with just expansions, DLCs after, let's just say, the game launches today, and there will be DLCs next summer. But now it's just like, yeah, how about you buy a full game, and if you want more stuff, you can buy today still, but you need to pay extra money. Bandai is doing that practice too with the Dragon Ball Fighter Z. People are pissed off, and it's like, why can't I get a full price fighting game with all the characters? And then no, if you want those characters, you need to buy this expansion pack. No hardcore grinding anymore of unlocking characters anymore, just like back in the day.
Yeah.
Unlocking characters is like, wow, dude, this is a fighting game. Like doing all these arcades and yeah.
Well,
You were gonna say?
I was trying to think of what fighting game it was. I thought it was one of the later Tekkens, or maybe it was a King of Fighters. It's a series I'm not really into. It was recently, I thought, man, one of the recent ones where you start with like nobody on your character roster. You maybe have 2 or 3 people, and then everybody. Maybe that's Killer Instinct I'm thinking of. Or Killer
That's
Instinct.
Killer Instinct. Yeah.
Is that it? Where you just start out with like
Yeah.
nobody at all, and the entire character roster is behind a paywall.
Yeah.
That's not what I
Yep.
want in a fighter. But dude, I have to admit, in Smash, I ate it up, man. We nearly had 50 characters, and we still had some to unlock. It's obvious they were just listening to fans of like who would come next after the game had come out, you know? Like there was already so much more massive than most other games coming out with how much Nintendo shoved into that game. And they would even show development of like Mewtwo before he was even finished. And you know, you could tell those characters came out so much later that they were obviously like working on it, getting their licenses in order and balancing them and stuff like that. I don't know. I ate that alive. But for as much as I love Smash, I didn't even get all the DLC in that either, because it was a chunk of just costumes and cosmetics.
Exactly. And that's how it's how they get into you, you know. Uh, and so um, even though companies are they're experimenting these kinds of stuff, it's what we're facing today, and I could say that it's partially myself as a gamer as a little bit of my fault too. I won't blame just uh, the companies, but I blame myself too because I'm part of buying DLCs. But at the same time, pay to win is not the way to go. You know,
Nope.
changing to other people's gameplay and experiences, it's crossing the line. And for all those people who think that today that single player games are still irrelevant, they're wrong. You can still have fun after you're done with the game. It all depends on the company if they do expansions or if they do some other stuff with the game. That is why there's online today. There's internet today to download an expansion pack later on the year that it came out. Talking about Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, uh, a single player game can continue. It doesn't mean that you cannot go back to that world. EA's problem of linear game or open world games or whatever the case may be, letting a really uh, talentful visceral game, be in the ashes of a grave, it's unacceptable. You know, because of their greediness, they just like change their mind. No, that doesn't make money. What makes money is what we're doing right now, and that incorrect. There's a lot of ways to do stuff. There's a lot of ways. You know, ain't like EA has a freaking console. That ain't gonna happen. I mean, they they're alive because of us as gamers, consoles. You know,
Uh
even
huh.
PC, mostly PC. But yeah, the console is it's where they actually get the money. With no consoles, they will never exist, and neither other companies will ever exist without even microtransactions and loot boxes. So they can look back in time and think like, man, we survived without. We won a lot of money. We win a lot of money, and we got that money back, and we didn't flip flop back in the day a lot, you know. But no, EA is doing gritty stuff, and other companies are doing this kind of crap. And it's up to us gamers to either support this or not. Because if we still keep on buying this shit, keep on uh, digging up and feeding the demon, then it's gonna get hard to just kill it. And that's just me, you know. It saddens me that today's gaming industry is this type of gritty,
Yeah.
and forget about us gamers who, that along these years we've been giving you the money, EA, because of your product, not because of your greediness. You know, it proves right here that the 3 billion that you lost in stock. I mean, it's not because of what you created; it's what you are badly doing of these microtransactions and shit. We're tired of spending more money above $60. Is just too much. It's buying a freaking console. A game right now is like buying a console right now because of your freaking loot boxes and microtransactions.
Yeah, it's like
It's in that
accessories of
level.
the DLC.
Mm-hmm. So, uh, anything else you want to say, Dan?
Uh, it would be, well, you know what? I do have a good question for you. Let's say,
Yeah.
in the best case scenario, um, EA they just revoke. Well, I don't know if it's the best case scenario or not. Maybe they could get good people in there and make it right, because Battlefront 2 is a beautiful game, and
Mm.
they obviously have people that care about it to yell about it this much. But let's say, just as a question for you, Zyber, if
All
EA
right.
really screws this up and Disney pulled the Star Wars license away from them, who would they give it to?
Oof. Dan. Wow. That is an interesting question. Because
I can
right
tell you
now,
mine.
yeah.
Maybe you need time to think
Either
about it.
yeah, but as as a big company that it is not as greedy as EA, I was I would say a little bit of Square Enix.
Square. That's
Be-
an awesome
Yeah,
answer.
yeah. Just because they're not into that practice that much,
Yeah.
but and let's see if Square Enix is doing a Marvel video game right now,
Yeah, and they're
and
not.
you know that Mar.
Yeah, and they're not against doing things that are westernized because they're behind Just
Yeah.
Cause.
Hmm. And
Yeah, that's an awesome
they
answer. I
they
like
they
that.
ha- yeah they have talents, studios with a lot of talents. So Square Enix will be a really good company if Disney just take that
Yeah,
out of their hands. And yeah, I think Square Enix will do a better job.
yeah.
Like honestly, I'm a really big Square Enix fan, and I've seen their single player games and multiplayer games also,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen their work and their creativity, and so yeah, I'll definitely give it to Square Enix. 100%.
Cool. As for me personally, I'd give it to Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog. Yeah.
I give it to Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like that, man, dude. They're
Oh
already
yeah.
they're already so they're already so up there in terms of creating something cinematic
Oh yeah.
that would be fitting for Star Wars while not being overbearing in the cinematics, but coming up with awesome action oriented gameplay in a variety of different ways. Um,
I can see
with
the cinematic already, man.
yeah,
Like,
with
dang.
between the Last of Us and Uncharted, I think they would make a killer Star Wars game.
Yes. Go Star Wars game.
I think they would do amazing with the license.
Even if it's a linear game, like, dude, just the story itself, because I know Naughty Dog, they do a really they go deep in story.
Yeah, they
They
would
go
do it,
really
man.
deep in. I totally dig it. Totally dig it
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, totally. Dang EA.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like Naughty Dog itself, it's like that killer right there. Like they can do a lot better than even Square Enix will do.
I
Like
like
to
your Square Enix
truly,
answer though. I love it actually
yeah,
because they're
yeah.
capable
It's
of
not
putting out amazing graphics too.
exactly, exactly. Because the engine that Naughty Dog is using right now, and they're not in that practice of microtransactions either.
Yeah.
Um,
True.
they're totally microtransactions free right now. Uh, they only have like a couple of DLCs, but that's it. The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But they did not like pushing you to like, yeah, buy this weapon. No, man.
Yeah.
A really good single player Naughty Dog Star Wars game will be totally legit.
Yeah. I'm glad you like that.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
I
dude.
would.
I totally. So even though if it's an exclusive for Sony, because I know Naughty Dog it's a really hardcore Sony studio,
Yeah.
but people need to still dig it. I mean, if you want that game, you still need to buy that console.
Yeah.
Like that's a console seller right there. Guarantee you,
Yeah.
console seller.
Yeah.
Dang, yeah, totally dig it. Totally dig it. So yeah, EA has been stumped so many ways, such as ratings, Disney, fans, angry fans, uh, you name it. Uh, and I think they deserve this kind of like because that's how they will actually react to something like this, if they do. But because if they don't, they keep with their practices like fuck them. But this is the way to do it. Like at least gamers are responding to like don't support this shit unless if they change their practices. No, don't play with other people's money. That is straight law. Don't play with my money. You know, I buy full price for your product, $60 plus tax,
Mm-hmm.
and I just you know don't want to spend any more of that. This other poor people like me, I don't have a lot of money. Okay, like for you to be being greedy, EA. So disadvantages and advantages are really. And so, uh, I think this will be it. Anything else you want to say, Officer Danson?
No, that was my burning question. I think we did pretty good.
Us. Yes, we totally nailed this, and we burned EA to the ground. And I hope EA comes back to its roots, because I don't want to see a company fail either. It's something that it's in me, but you know, if they fail with Star Wars, they brought them to themselves. I mean, they shot themselves into the leg. Like
Uh huh. Yeah. Yeah.
so, they got what they deserve, and let's see if they react to this type of circumstances that they're facing right now, and so on. Uh, VGA Video Game Awards is next week. Hopefully,
Yep.
hopefully we don't flip out if something unexpected things happen.
Dude, they better not.
I hope they they the games that are nominated deserve to win with their uh, quality of the game.
Yeah.
So hopefully, and uh, so yeah, guys, this has been Zyberpunky, and
And Officer Dan, I host Karibu Kai Play over on YouTube Gaming. Um, I also have my own channel, youtube.com/SodaWaveShow, where I put together stuff of production quality. I gotta say, I've also been on Twitch lately. The achievements over there have had me really fired up. I've been doing Twitch on my own, and it's been good. It's a fresh amount of variety for me over there. Twitch.tv/SodaWaveLive.
indeed,
And make
hope
sure
you
to
check
subscribe
them
to
out.
Cyber Station.
Yes, please, and yes, don't forget to favorite, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for supporting the channel, guys. And I'll see you guys later.